There, how's that now? How's that? Can you hear me now? Oh, there we go. Thank you, thank you. I'm so sorry, I'm so late, and I didn't even have the stream set up. I've never been this late. I can't believe it. I'm so sorry. Hello Foxy, hello Sargon Stepchild, hello Zamba. Equalized? Wait. What does that mean? Is my audio okay? Okay. My background music did sound a little loud. Yeah. Okay. Good, good, good. Hello, everyone. I'm so late. I was so busy today. And then I had to make this PowerPoint. I had so much planned. I was gonna do a pre-test and post-test, but that's all out the window now. There's no way we're doing that. We don't have enough time for that. We don't have enough time for all of that now, so... I'm here to learn about the liver. It does a bunch of things. It does a bunch of things. I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. They're not wrong about that. So... this is something I'm more familiar with, so I think I'll be more comfortable talking about this. So I was gonna prepare a pretest. I even have the pretest here. You want to see it there. There's a pretest, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that because that's just too much. That's just too much for the stream. But we're gonna talk about the liver and all a bunch of stuff that I like about the liver. About your livers. Doc says I have too much testo. Well, good for you. Good for you. Are you willing to share some? I don't think I have enough. Anyway, we'll begin with the disclaimers. The usual disclaimers, the usual stuff. This video again is for entertainment purposes. You need to assume that I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? I don't want to get in trouble. So just pretend I don't know what I'm talking about. Even though you know that your tiger boy is a genius. He's a genius. But let's just pretend for now that I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? And if you have any concerns or... oh, I forgot to put my glasses on. But you need to do your own research too. Or get the advice of a doctor. An actual doctor. we won't really be going into much advice stuff or like treatments and stuff like that. Just about the liver in general, because the liver is a very exciting organ. I can confirm my liver doesn't like me, but it's nice you like it. Why doesn't your liver like you? Maybe you're not treating your liver right. I was working on this PowerPoint without my glasses on, so I might have strained my eyes a bit. So just like with our previous stream, we'll begin with a few terminologies. Third white. We'll begin with a few terminologies. This won't be too crazy. There will be more crazy terms later on, but I will lead you through them, okay? There's no need to stress about the big words. Don't worry. I'm here and I will help you through these big words. I love big words. And one of those big words is the hepatic portal vein. This is a very important term. Oh no, I'm in the way. I'm in the way. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to block the student board here. What's the apple doing up there? Okay. You have experience with long things? The hepatic portal vein is not very long, but it's very big. All right. I'll bring up a picture of the liver later and all these parts. But for now, we'll just stick to the 2 words. I hope big words don't bother you. But our first big word is the hepatic portal vein. So this is the vein that supplies the liver with nutrient-rich blood. And I'll show you the picture later. I'll show you the picture later. But just so you know, all the organs in or most of the digestive organs in your abdomen, all of the veins that come out of them. So you remember do you remember your vascular system or the blood vessel system? So blood comes out of the heart through the artery. Blood comes out of the heart through the arteries and goes to all the organs, right? And then those goes to veins, and the veins go back to the heart. So all your digestive system, the organs involved in your digestive system, all their veins go through the liver before it goes through the heart. Yeah. So all of them go through this, the hepatic portal vein. That's why it's called portal. It is a portal through which all digestive stuff go through. Next is hepatic artery. So this is where the liver gets oxygen-rich blood. So do you remember your arteries and your veins? Arteries are the blood vessels that come out of the heart, or that lead away from the heart. So this comes out of the heart and brings rich oxygen blood to the liver. Hepatic or hepato, that's what the liver, those are under other, I think it's a Greek term for liver. Veins are the blood vessels that bring blood back to the heart. So all the blood vessels from your abdomen or your digestive system goes through the liver before it goes through the heart. Hepatic vein. This is the vein that carries blood away from the liver and back to the heart. Yeah, that's how we color them in anatomy. Arteries are the red ones, veins are blue, and the capillaries are the purple ones. Very good. That's how we color them, but they don't really look like that. When you look at your skin, you can see your veins, right? They're kind of colored green. They're kind of colored green. Don't you think that's weird? They're not colored green because they're actually green. No. It's just that the light that the light that goes through your skin and then it's reflected back, most of the red light gets absorbed. So the light that comes out is no longer red. Can I inject myself with food dye so to express yourself? It's why hepatitis is liver. Yes, that's right. Very good. Lobules. So this is the functional unit of the liver. So this is the basic unit of what makes the liver do what the liver does. So everything the liver does is in what you call this lobule. It's a tiny structure, about 2 millimeters in width, I think. And we'll go through more of this, but this is the functional unit of the liver. This is what does all the work of the liver. Yeah. And sinusoid. This is the capillary of the liver. 2 millimeters is plenty. Plenty enough for the lobule. So you remember your blood, your cardiovascular system. So you have your arteries. Do I have a purple color here? Yeah. You have arteries. You have your veins. And in between those, you have the capillaries. Right? Remember? The capillaries. So the capillaries, it's basically where blood comes into contact with cells. It's where cells are exposed to blood and they can receive their nutrients and stuff and send off their wastes. So here they get the oxygen-rich blood, and then they give out the oxygen-poor blood. The sinusoid is basically the capillary of the liver. Yep. So you got all that? You got all that? That wasn't too hard, was it? So we don't have many terms. So here. Central vein. So the central vein is a part of the lobule. So remember, the lobule is your functional unit of the liver. The sinusoid is also part of the lobule. I'll show you the picture in just a bit. Don't worry. The central vein is the vein. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the vein at the center of the lobule. So it carries the blood out of the lobule and into the hepatic vein. It becomes a lot easier when you see the picture. Kupffer cells. Most of this is anatomy stuff, actually. Kupffer cells are the macrophages. I'm not sure if you remember what macrophages are, but they're specialized white blood cells. So macrophages are white blood cells. When you see the word phage, you think about eating. Phage. So macrophages eat. That's what they do. We'll be testing your anatomy in just a bit. Yeah. It's not a really hard test. It's very easy. Anyways, what these do is they eat pathogens and old red blood cells. You'll see this in the picture later, but that's what the Kupffer cells are. Now hepatocytes, these are the specialized liver cells. So within the lobule, you have these hepatocytes, which does the work of the liver. Everything that the liver does is done in the lobule, and hepatocytes do most of the work. So they're cells that only are found in the liver. They're like really specialized cells that are only found in the liver. Bile. So bile is a substance produced by the hepatocyte. Actually, you have 3 terms here: bile, gallbladder, and bile ducts. An oral test. Well, you can speak out loud if you want to. But we'll go through what bile does later. Okay? Now, these terms are terms that you might be familiar with already, since we talked about some of them on our first lecture stream. And that's metabolism. You guys are familiar with that already, right? I might even bring up the... Am I able to open it? Maybe later. We'll see what happens if I open up the other stream, because we might have to look at some diagrams in the previous lecture. But anyway, metabolisms are all those chemical processes. Is there a portion that covers why liver portions are... Yes, we'll be going there. We'll be going there. But good thinking ahead. It's very good to have questions. So if you have any questions, just ask them. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert, but I know some stuff. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask. A metabolite, this is an important term because we'll be using this a lot. A metabolite is a substance made or used during metabolism. So the liver does a lot of metabolizing. It metabolizes a lot of stuff. So we'll be using this word a lot. This just means it is a product or one of the components of metabolism. What's your ideal first date? That's a secret. You're not supposed to date your teachers, I think. Nitrogenous wastes. You have to graduate first, maybe. I don't know. Nitrogenous wastes. So we have that word metabolites. We have the word metabolites again being used here. So these are the metabolites of protein synthesis. So the important term here is nitro. So you know it's nitrogen. Nope. So if you're familiar with the chemical structure of macronutrients, I don't think we really went into much of this, but most macronutrients are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Protein is unique that it has nitrogen. Yeah. So your carbohydrates, your fats, they're just basically carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. But proteins have nitrogen in them. So they produce things called nitrogenous wastes when they're metabolized. And we'll be going through at least one of these. Yeah. And albumin, it's something that will be important later, so I just put it here too. But it is a protein produced by the liver and the hepatocytes that prevents fluids from leaking out of blood vessels. So this kind of protein lines the blood vessels and it prevents fluids from leaking outside. Did we catch all of that? You guys clear on everything? Can we go to the next slide? So the next slide. Oop. Hello, what's this? Hello. Welcome. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry. It's so weird. I'm the teacher and I'm late. It's also the white stuff on salmon? Really? It's the white stuff on eggs. There, you can come up with you can come up with something from that. Is there anything the body uses nitrogen for, or is it a byproduct? So the main thing of nitrogen is in the amino acids. So amino acids are comprised of nitrogen, or they're mainly nitrogen, and we'll get to there. But amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So proteins, amino acids, that's what nitrogen's mainly used in the body for. Yeah. All right. So we have a bit of an anatomy test here. And for anatomy test, we do have a volunteer. We do have a volunteer. And his name is Astolfo. Astolfo has kindly volunteered to teach us anatomy. Yeah. So he is going to show us, or he's going to help us learn the parts of the digestive system. Since the liver is part of the digestive system. So, whoop. So Astolfo, can you please show us your organs? There you go. Astolfo has showed us his organs. Thank you so much. So, you are going to help me name. You're going to help me name these organs. Yeah. So what is number 1, chat? What is number 1? Number 1 is hole 1. Oh. Hole 1. Wait. I need to change the font. That one looks like a better font. There, hole 1. Hello, Coffee Bean Man. What is number 2? What is number 2, chat? You guys know this. You have to archive this. Number 2. What is that thing there? It's the tube that connects that to this. Astolphagus. That's your astolphagus. You guys are so good at astoltomy. We need to add that to our dictionary here, chat. There we go. So what is number 3? Number 3. Well, you should know number 3. That's what we're talking about. What's number 3, chat? This is what we're talking about. Very good. Finally, someone got it. The liver. So the liver is part of your digestive system. The brain. What is number 4, chat? What is number 4? When I saw this stream, I thought, what? Liver's stomach. You're letting Sargon Stepchild do all the answering here, chat. Stomach. Wait, the fonts aren't the same. Oh well. We'll make them all the same. Whoops. Very good. You got it. That is your gallbladder. What's number 6? Well, number 6 is a bit of a trick question here. Number 6 is actually part of number 8. Number 6 is part of number 8, but I wonder if you can guess what number 6 is. It's a little hard. I shouldn't have put it in there. Sorry, busy at work. That's okay. You're good. No, it's hard. I'm just gonna write it down for you, chat. It's a duodenum. Oh, wrong spelling. Duodenum. I probably shouldn't have added that there, But that is the start of the small intestine. Yeah, I shouldn't have put it in there. I got overzealous, chat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Legit learned a new word. That is just the ending. That is the beginning of the small intestine. A lot of these, so as you can see, the gallbladder and this number 7 are connected to that, which is why I included it. But that was a difficult term. I'm sorry, chat. I'm so sorry. You'll forgive Tiger Boy, right? I'm helping you answer this anyway, so. All right, what is number 7? Why do I sound more feminine than Orica? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? That's news to me. That's news to me. Don't tell that to Orica. Spleen? You know, I should have put the spleen in there, but I did not. So there's a clue for you guys. That's not the spleen. Yes, the duodenum. You remember that from anatomy. Good, good. How dare you make us learn stuff? I'm gonna make you learn stuff one way or another. I'm gonna shove all this into your head one way or another. Because that's what I like doing, shoving things into people's heads. Pancreas, very good. That's the pancreas. Pancreas. Very important organ too. Actually, I want to talk about the spleen in the future. The spleen is a very interesting organ too. So, vampires don't tell these to normal people a lot, but the spleen is actually a very choice organ among vampire circles. Yeah. And just in case you forgot, I am a vampire, werewolf, manticore, phantasmal species X, 3-letter agent, VTuber. So I am also a vampire, and I congregate within these circles. And the pancreas and the liver are chef's kiss. Well, the liver's a bit unique, and we can go through that later. But the pancreas, very good, very good, very good. A very good organ, because it's not like the heart where you pull out the heart and the person dies. That's kind of sad. But you can pull out someone's liver. Not the liver. Well, you can pull out the liver too. And we'll get to that later. But you can pull out their pancreas and then snack on it. And they won't have to die. Well, they can, but you just need to be careful doing it. So I'll talk about, oh, pancreas, spleen. Sorry, spleen. I meant spleen. Spleen. Not the pancreas, the spleen. I was talking about the spleen, but I saw pancreas on the screen. I was talking about the spleen. Maybe one of these streams we'll talk about the spleen and why vampires love the spleen. Yeah, because it's kind of like the liver. Well, you can't live without the liver, but you can live without part of the liver. We'll get to that, but you can live without the spleen. So you can donate your spleens to me if you want to. I can snack on your spleens if you want. Sounds like a glowy. Very suspicious. Am I? Chat? Liver pate is delicious. Well, I've never had animal livers, because I'm a vampire, werewolf, were-tiger, vampire, were-tiger, manticore, 3-letter agent. Phantasmal species X, 3-letter agent. So I only, for YouTube, I only eat livers, human livers in Minecraft. Okay, we'll get to that later, chat. We're getting caught up here. What is number 8? What is number 8? This one is easy. What is a manticore, sir? A manticore is a lion with a man's face. Yeah. Sausage casings. Small intestine. Very good. Small intestine. You know, Sargon stepchild, I should give you I should give you an award. I hope I really wish if you remember I'm not sure if you were there, but during my first lecture, I was giving out certificates, but I didn't have any time to make certificates this time around. So, oh, wrong spelling. So I am not able to give any. I'm sorry. He dissects humans daily. Wow, he's just like me. He's just like me. We should get together. Maybe Sargon Stepchild is actually a vampire too. Number 9, large intestine. Very good. You got it, Samba. Ooh. What is going on? I want the font to look like that. Oh well. We'll just leave it like that. Oh, there we go. You're totally a vampire? Well, then I can't turn you into a vampire. You won't be one of my sires. Can you show us how to dissect rabbits next? Poor rabbits. I only dissect humans in Minecraft. Number 10, chat. Number 10. Wait, before we go to number 10, since we were talking a bit about the sigmoid, just so we know, this part here is the sigmoid, or this part here is the sigmoid. So you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of the colon. You have the ascending colon, because this is the part that goes up. You have the transverse colon, because it goes across, the descending colon, and the sigmoid. There. And you have the appendix here usually. The appendix is there. You don't see my cursor? I think the cursor is showing. I should update my title to that, Foxy. You can't see my colon? No, don't look at my colon. You can't see my cursor? You can't see my cursor? It looks like this. It's showing. Someone might need glasses or watch full screen. Is my screen big enough? I could have made it bigger. Chat can't read. Curses. Oh yeah, it is just kind of white on white. Yeah, you got some white on white action going on there. Okay, good. All right, chat. Now that we've gone through the colon, what is number 10? That's one way of saying it. But we can't do that because Susan might kill us. We'll just say hole 2. Oh. Actually, chat. Are you familiar with the kappa? With a kappa? How do I erase that? The kappa from Japanese folklore? Kappa? It's a very... Yeah, that. Yep. The Japanese had a very interesting belief. Are you familiar with... Let me write it down here, so... No. I think that's the right word. Yeah, that's the right word. Are you familiar with that term? Have you heard of that term before? There is a very weird anime. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. I should have saved the picture beforehand. Let me see. Oh, there, I found a picture. Let me save that real quick. Oh no. But the Japanese believed that the kappas pulled your soul. Pulled your soul. Or your shirikodama. Where is that picture? Where did I put it? This is the name of that. It was a very weird series. It was a very weird. I haven't watched it. I just saw an ad for it or whatever. But the Japanese believed that your soul was in your butt. Tenma should have been a kappa. But they believed that the soul was in your butt, and that the kappa stole your soul by pulling it out of your butt. It's so weird. I don't know how they ever came to that. But this series, I think this series is about these kappa, or they're like kids or boys who transformed into kappa, who exorcised people's souls, I think, or something. Look at how happy that little dude is. They basically exorcise people by pulling out their soul from their butt and then cleansing their soul or something. I don't think I've seen an episode, but from the ads I saw, I got that that's what they were doing. They were pulling their souls out of their butt. I forgot if she remembered. Hello, Traub. Well, that's new too. Sorry, was it the last turn? Yeah. Are you I'm not really familiar with Elden Ring, but you're familiar with the Dung Eater, right? I haven't played Elden Ring, but I saw this one day about the Dung Eater. And the reason he's called the Dung Eater because he pulls people's souls out of their butt, I think. Is that right? I think the Dung Eater is related to that, I think. The crazy cock. Yeah. So in this case, we can say that this is that's this boy's soul. Yeah. So in our case, that's what we can call it. We'll just call it that. Does that sound okay, chat? Can we call it that? Because of this. The crazy caca consumer. I've never played that game. I've never played a Souls game before. Maybe I should. You got it? You got the reference? I love that show. I haven't seen the latest seasons though. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We can this is just to show that the liver is part of the digestive system. Thank you, Astolfo, for lending your body for science. But now we're moving on. Everyone, say thank you to Astolfo. He worked very hard, showing his internal organs like that. Okay, thank you, Astolfo, but bye-bye. All right. So now we're talking about the anatomy of the liver. I hope I'm not in the way. Okay. I don't think I'm in the way now. All right. So remember what we talked about earlier? We have your portal vein, hepatic artery. You have your hepatic vein, So, the liver is your largest internal organ. Unrelated note, which fate was Astolfo from again? From Apocrypha. From Fate Apocrypha. I think... I'm not sure if it's Fate Grand Order which popularized him, though. Yeah. I didn't like him in Apocrypha, though, to be honest. I didn't like the Black Faction. Is that right, the Black Faction? Yeah, he was Rider of Black, I think. Let me see. Was he Rider of Black? Whatever. I didn't like the Black Faction. And it's like they were setting up not the Black Faction in general, but the main character, I guess. I guess if you consider Sieg the main character, they were propping that faction up as the good quote unquote good faction. I don't know. I was on Team Amakusa the whole way. Which is why I didn't like Astolfo. He was more fun in some Fate Grand Order stories. Was he in Carnival Phantasm? He must have been in the FGO version of that. I can't remember. I don't think he was in... I'm not sure if he was in Carnival Phantasm. I don't know. But actually, I actually have all versions of Astolfo in Fate Grand Order, even Saber Astolfo, and I wasn't trying to get him, but I ended up getting him. Yeah, he's a big part of... Okay. June accused Astolfo of being a Black Rider. Oh no, I didn't mean it that way. Astolfo was Rider of Black, if I remember correctly. He's a big part of it, along with 𝓕𝓵𝓪𝓥𝓡. Wait, what is Carnival Phantasm? I thought Carnival Phantasm was Fate Stay Night, Tsukihime, and what's the other one? I'm spacing out. Yeah, Fate Stay Night, Tsukihime. Is it just Fate Stay Night and Tsukihime? Or am I saying this? Kara no Kyokai. Was Kara no Kyokai in it? Did they have characters from Kara no Kyokai? I don't know. But I know FG also had their own carnival, Grand Carnival or something. I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't really a fan of Astolfo until Fate Grand Order. I'm not really exactly a fan of Astolfo, but he's okay, I guess. But anyway, back on topic. The liver is the largest internal organ. The largest organ, obviously, is your skin. But the largest internal organ is the liver. Felix? Nah, not really. Not really. In 𝓕𝓵𝓪𝓥, I think the only character I cared for in 𝓕𝓵 was Rem until the movie. Until the movie, then I started caring about Emilia. The movie made Emilia a lot more relatable, but before that, the only person I really cared for was Rem. And of course, Subaru, since you kind of saw the series through his eyes and you could feel his pain. Oh, we're not talking about the Felix from 𝓕𝓵? If we're talking about like anime traps or something, there aren't much that There's only one really. If I Astolfo's okay from FGO, but not from Apocrypha. But if we're talking about anime traps, I think my favorite one would be, what's his name? Kuranosuke from 𝓕𝓵𝓪𝓥𝓡 from Jellyfish Princess. Are you guys familiar with that series? Jellyfish Princess. It's kind of funny because the girl in that series is kind of a neat, but the boy likes dressing up. So that was a very good series. I really liked it. I felt sad when it ended because I don't read manga, so I couldn't really know what happened next. It ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, the anime series. But it was really good. It was super good. If you haven't seen Jellyfish Princess, it was more of a, was it a slice of life anime? Kind of like that, I guess. I think it must have been a shoujo anime for girls, but it was entertaining. It was a nice anime. So that would be my favorite trap. I think his name was Kuranosuke from 𝓕𝓵𝓪𝓥𝓡. Am I saying his name right? Yeah, I'm saying it right. But yeah. It's a very fun series. You guys should watch it if you haven't yet. Okay, now back on topic. So your liver is situated on the right upper quadrant of your abdomen. You can't feel it since it's hiding behind your rib cage, but if it is swollen, you can. I'm actually pretty good at locating the liver. Once you've got experience, you can locate it. You can locate it. Juwon reads shoujo manga. No, I'm super manly. I don't read manga. Some anime though I watch. Hello, Java. Hello. Hello. We started pretty late, but thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up. But yeah, your liver is located on your right upper quadrant and you can feel it only if it's swollen because it's hiding behind the rib cage. You can sort of feel this end, or if your liver is swollen, you could feel it. But most of it is hidden behind the rib cage because it's an organ that your body really wants to protect. I think I made the best keto chili of my life. Congrats, congrats. You should probably share it with us someday. But another reason why it is hidden behind that rib cage right there is because it is very vascular. Very vascular. It has lots of blood. At any given time, it has at least 10% of your whole body's blood supply. Did it have liver in it? But at any given time, it holds about 10% of your body's blood supply. So in the liver community, in the vampire community, the vampires don't really talk about this out loud. So normal people think we just drink blood out of veins and stuff, or grab people's hearts and stuff. It does not, sadly. That might actually be good. Really? But the liver holds a lot of blood. Yeah. It holds a lot of blood. So that's in vampire circles, it is a bit of a it could be considered an acquired taste, because depending on when you harvest a liver, so a liver actually grows in size after you eat. A liver has more blood after you eat. Yeah. So after eating, the liver holds more blood, but then it also has a not exactly the taste of what you eat, but it depends from vampire to vampire. It has a bit of an acquired taste. It's kind of a specialized organ. You need a special vampire chef to prepare it because you don't want to get any of the you don't want any of the bile. But if the vampire chef prepares it just right, chef's kiss. Ask your local vampire. They'll know. They don't really like to share that information though. There's a lot of misinformation out there about vampires, which I can't correct in this stream, but over the course of our lectures together, we can learn more about the vampire community. Does looking at the symbols make you feel anything? No, that's another misconception about vampires. A lot of vampires are very religious. Even Dracula was very religious at one point. So yeah, vampires are people too. Hashtag. Hello, welcome, Tile. Welcome. We're talking about livers and vampires who eat livers, like me. But yeah. So, like I said earlier, I was gonna show you a diagram of the blood supply. So, this portal vein, we're gonna go back to Astolfo here real quick. Female vampire rights. You should be allowed to have a female vampire kidnap you. Everyone should. How about a male vampire? How's that? It's mostly rumors spread by vamphobics. That's true. You know, a lot of vampires get a bad rep because of Hollywood and stuff. It makes vampires, shows like Vampire Diaries, or what's the name of that? Twilight. Was it called Twilight? It makes vampires look like they're raging sex addicts or something. And that is a mischaracterization. But we'll not go into that. So we're going back to Astolfo for a bit here real quick. Say hi to Astolfo again. He is dedicating his body for science. So, if you remember your circulatory system, you have your heart, and that sends blood to your organs. Let's say organs. And then the organs use the oxygen and send it right back to your heart. Sound about right? So, when it comes to these organs, when it comes to the digestive system, all the digestive organs, before going back to the heart, it goes through the liver. It all goes through the liver first. So your large intestine, your small intestine, your pancreas, your stomach, your esophagus, even the boy's soul. Everywhere. Everything goes through the liver first. So that's why, okay, thanks again, Astolfo, for your sacrifice, but we're going back to the liver. That's why it's called the portal vein. Because this is the portal where the food you take That's why we were talking about the 𝓕𝓵𝓪𝓥𝓡, where the soul is located in the butt. So all the blood from your digestive system goes through the portal vein and goes through the liver. It goes through the liver. Okay, let's go back to Astolfo. So you get oxygen-rich blood. It goes through the organs, and all of that goes to the liver. So your digestive system, when it digests food, the food digested goes into the blood. That's how it works. The food digested in here gets absorbed and it goes to the bloodstream. And here it goes absorbed and goes to the bloodstream. And all of that goes through the liver. Everything that you put through your mouth, and is absorbed in your GI tract goes through the liver. That's why it's called the portal vein. It is a portal into your body. It is a portal into your body. All the food at least. Or even the stuff you put into the other end. It all gets absorbed and goes through the portal vein. Can a liver get pregnant? It depends. If it's a liver, it might. It might. So yeah. So the liver receives blood from the GIT, or the GI tract, and that's through the portal vein. Now, it also needs oxygen-rich blood, because every organ in the body needs oxygen to function. Oxygen is needed to make energy and stuff. So it gets that from the hepatic artery. So this is the aorta. Your heart is up here. Your heart branches into the aorta. The aorta goes down. It goes through several other... It branches first into the celiac artery, I think. Is this how you spell it? I can't remember. It goes through that artery, and that artery branches into this. Into the hepatic artery. But we're not going to talk about that one. We're not going to talk about that one. We're just going to talk about the hepatic artery. Do vampires have red blood? That's a good question. It depends on how freshly they eat. They just ate. It depends on how freshly they just fed. It is a good idea to take vitamin and nutrient supplements if they aren't 6 million% daily serving and just... I'm not sure what that means. Is it a good idea to take? You can actually overdose on vitamins, so don't go crazy. You have a question, Wombat? You have a question? You're raising your hand. Did I miss something? Oh, I answered it. Okay, very good. Very good, very good. So this is where it gets its blood supply. This is where it gets its oxygen-rich blood. This one is nutrient-rich because it comes from your GI tract. It's got lots of nutrients. And all those nutrients have to go through the liver first. Zinc is a big one. You can get very nauseous. Yeah. Even the ones that technically don't have, that you can't overdose on technically, like vitamin C, it can give you diarrhea. Oh, okay. We'll go through that. Actually, I didn't write this down. I should have written it down, but some vitamins can actually be toxic to your liver, and we'll go through that. We'll go through that. So, another thing that the liver does is it produces bile. So that's what you have here, gallbladder. It produces bile. So the gallbladder doesn't produce bile. Gallbladder does not produce bile. All the gallbladder does is stores bile. It just stores bile. The liver is the one that actually produces bile. Liver produces bile. It's only stored in here. And we'll get to what the bile is later. And the liver it's made up of lobules. So someone asked about the liver lobes. So there are two lobes of the liver. We'll go back to Astolfo again. Thank you, Astolfo, for your sacrifice. Showing us your internal organs. Just erase a bunch of this stuff. Okay. So you have two lobes of the liver, the left and the right. You have the right lobe and the left lobe. This is the classical division of the liver. We have discovered even more lobes. Even more lobes. 8 more, I think, on each side. But that's how the liver is kind of segmented. But when you go even closer, when you zoom even closer, you'll find what you call lobules. And this is what we were talking about earlier. And this thing here, the functional unit. Lobules are the functional unit of the liver. So they're the smallest part of the liver that does the liver's work. And the next picture is what a lobule looks like. It definitely is one of the coolest organs. So this is what a lobule looks like. So if you were to cut up the liver and you were to zoom in, you will see this hexagonal shape. So they look, they're not exactly hexagonal shape. They're a little more rounded, but they're more or less hexagonal shaped. Like that. Like this. Oh. There. So this is a liver lobule. Astolfo is just a great value brand you one. Yes, it does look like a beehive. This is the functional unit of the liver. This is what does the liver's work. For efficiency. Yeah. Yep. You're able to pack more stuff with a hexagon. The body is amazing. The liver is amazing. The body in general is amazing. You have around 50 to 100,000 lobules. Another gray fan. I didn't get the reference, sorry. It's hexagonal shaped. And the important part of the lobule is this thing here, the portal triad. On each side of the lobule, so you have the lobule that's kind of like hexagonal shape. On each corner of the lobule, you have what is called the portal triad. Oh, okay, I get it. The triad. Yakuza. But they're called a triad because there are three vessels. You have the so your portal vein, your hepatic artery, and your bile duct all kind of meet together within the lobule. They kind of all meet together there within the lobule. See? You have the artery, the vein, and the bile duct. That's why it's called a triad. But this is kind of outdated knowledge. There are actually more, but we're not going to talk about that. You've got a nerve. You've also got a nerve that runs through here. You've got a nerve, and you've also got a lymph vessel. But we're not going to talk about those two. We're just going to talk about these three. The portal vein, or more specifically the portal venule, because it's a small vein. The portal arteriole, because it's a small artery, and the bile duct. And they meet within this space called the sinus. It's kind of. I have a bigger thing coming up, so you'll see it clearer. But this is basically the capillary. The sinusoid is the capillary of the liver. If you remember, the capillary is where the oxygen-rich blood is given to the cell, and the cell releases the oxygen-poor blood, so it kind of mixes. The sinusoid is the capillary of the liver. I'm good at teaching? Thank you. I should consider teaching for a living. Do you accept donations made in liver? I actually do. I actually do. I actually do. Are you willing to donate part of your liver? I'll take that. But yeah, basically that's what the sinusoid is. That's the capillary of your liver. Sure, in a few years. We'll actually talk about that later. I'm gonna sell you into donating your livers to me. I'm gonna sell you into donating your livers. Don't worry. By the end of this stream, you will be giving me your livers. Maybe, hopefully. All right, this is a bigger picture. So we have it blown up. Come on, you can spare part of your liver. Don't be such a baby. It'll grow back. Tal knows what's up. Yeah, listen to him. Can't find the liver donation link in your desk. I will. Just put your address and I'll visit you. I'll climb in your window and take part of your liver. Okay, so this is your lobule. This is your lobule. It's a bigger picture from the one earlier. Here you have the triad. You have in this, whoop. There you have your triad here. You see the triad? The red one is your artery. The blue one is your vein. The green one is your bile duct. And it releases their blood here. They all get mixed within the sinusoid. This is your sinusoid right here. That's why it's colored purple, because that's your capillary. That is your sinusoid. We'll get to look at this picture again later when we talk about the function of this whole thing. Right now, we're just learning about the anatomy. We're just learning about the anatomy. So all the blood mixes here. After being mixed, the oxygen-rich blood gets used. The oxygen gets used up, so it becomes deoxygenated, and it goes through this. Remember, that's the central vein. That's the central vein of the lobule, right here. The central vein. Oh, this is even a better picture. So you have here the portal veinule, or the small vein from the portal vein, hepatic arteriole, the small artery, and they mix here. They mix in the sinusoid. And after the oxygen is used, it goes through the central vein. It goes out and connects to the hepatic vein. Remember the hepatic vein? The hepatic vein is what brings the blood back into the heart. So after the blood goes through the GI tract, goes through the liver, it enters the hepatic vein into the inferior vena cava. And then it goes into your heart. This is why the liver is cool. We're an hour in and we haven't even touched it. Oh no! Are we really an hour in? Okay. I want to speed things up, but I like the pace we're going. So just tell me if you guys need a break. Well, we've also been sidetracking June. Okay. Now we can go to the physiology, which is basically the function. This is basically the function of the liver. Physiology means function. So the function of the liver. One of the functions of the liver, which is quite honestly my favorite function, is the storage of blood. At any given time, your liver has approximately a pint of blood. But it actually gets so much more than that. So through this hepatic artery, you see the hepatic artery here, it receives approximately this much blood. So this is the oxygen-rich blood. This is the oxygen-rich blood that it gets from the heart. It has about that much per minute. It's getting about that much per minute through your hepatic artery. That by itself is a lot. But then you have this coming from the portal vein too. You have over a liter a minute going into the portal vein. You'd think it might be high pressure, but no, this is a very low pressure kind of thing. Nothing's really pushing the blood in. But there you're getting a lot of blood. After a meal, this becomes even more. I don't have the number written down. It can probably go over 1,300 mils per minute. So a lot of blood is going into the liver after a meal. After meal. So a lot of blood in there. A lot of blood in there. That is the important part. So some conditions, especially heart conditions like swelling of the heart or whatever, can block this vein. So when that vein is blocked, the liver actually gets to store even more. Yeah. So we say around any given time it stores up to a pint. That can go up to a liter. So it's insane how much blood the liver can hold. But you don't want this to happen. You don't want your liver to swell. If there's an obstruction, your liver can hold even more blood. So that's why you don't want to get stabbed. That's why you don't want to get stabbed in your liver. And that's why shots to the liver are very dangerous. Especially after you eat. When you go for a liver test, there's a liver test called a biopsy. I don't know why I didn't write this down. I should have. It's called a liver biopsy. The biopsy is the opposite of an autopsy. So just to know what a biopsy means, it's the opposite of an autopsy. So an autopsy, you're examining a dead person. A biopsy, you're examining a living person. So you can't really cut them open. So what do? You take a sample. You take a sample of the living person. And in this case, it is the liver. Before they do a biopsy, they make sure that you haven't eaten. Or they make sure you don't eat anything. You know, never really thought about that. We all know the heart pumps blood, but it doesn't hold it. The liver is not the only one that holds blood. The spleen holds blood too. There are lots of places in the body that can hold blood. Yeah. The liver is one of them. The liver holds more blood than the spleen. But which is why, before you get a biopsy, your doctor is going to tell you not to eat. Usually starting at midnight or 6 hours or even longer. Because when you eat, your liver gets filled up with more blood. So now you're at a higher risk of bleeding. The shots are just rapid decompression of blood pressure and blood loss anyway. Yeah, so you don't want to be eating before a biopsy because they're gonna insert a needle, a very big needle, and get a sample. It depends on the kind of procedure they do it. You can do it percutaneous or through the skin. Nowadays, they do it through your jugular vein. Lots of blood gets trapped elsewhere around when you wake up in the morning. That's true too. Other stuff the vampire community doesn't want you to know. But yeah, they can do biopsy through the skin, which is actually more risky, or through your jugular vein. Yeah. They go through the jugular vein and then they find their way to the liver and they get a sample. Either way, you don't want to eat. The doctor is going to tell you not to eat because then you can end up bleeding. And you don't want that. All right, so that's one function of the liver. Storage of blood. The liver has many functions. I've just picked a few. These few should cover. You're not a fan of the jugular vein, but this should cover the majority of the liver's functions. Okay. Next, filtration of blood and dead RBCs, or old. I should say old, because we're all ageist here. Oop. Old RBCs. No, we're not ageist here, because I'm actually older than all of you. I'm older than life itself. I am an ancient entity from the beginning of the universe. I can go through the whole spiel, but I don't have it memorized. So we're seeing again the picture of our lobules, because now we see the alcoholism section. That's coming. That's coming. It's not here yet, but it's coming. All right. So remember this part here? We got the blood coming from the portal vein, blood coming from the arterioles, but most importantly, let's just focus on the portal vein here. This blood is coming from your GI tract. And let's go back to Astolfo. Oh, so that's why your description is like that. Okay, we're gonna go back to Astolfo. Thank you again for your sacrifice, Astolfo. But look where the blood is coming from. So remember, all the blood is coming from this area. Your guts. This is where your outside kind of meets the inside. The 𝓕𝓵𝓪𝓥𝓡, yeah. This is where the outside meets the inside. So there's bound to be bacteria in here. There's bound to be bacteria. 100%. It's not the cleanest part. Actually, when you think about it, human beings are just a donut. You have one hole here, and you have another hole down there. And this is where the outside, where that hole comes into contact with a donut. Right here. So the blood from the GI tract comes into your liver, or specifically the liver lobule. It comes through the liver lobule. So if there's bacteria that came in through that, they meet the Kupffer cells. So we talked about this earlier in our terminology. The Kupffer cells. So these are specialized macrophages. Macrophages are white blood cells. They're specialized white blood cells, but macrophages eat stuff. They love eating stuff, which is called. Human beings have 3 main holes. We're just talking about the GI tract. But yeah, Kupffer cells eat the pathogens. They eat the bacteria. And they kill the bacteria before it can go into your bloodstream. So that's what the Kupffer cells are. They're just hanging out there. They're just hanging out there within the sinusoid. But they do more than just eat and kill bacteria. They also dispatch old red blood cells. How many surfaces does a donut have? 1. I don't remember what the is it called a torus? A torus, the shape of a donut. You can actually calculate its surface. Oh, toroidal. There we go. If you're a smart math guy, which I'm not, I have no, I don't really know how to calculate it. Sounds too complicated. It's not simply a cylinder, so I don't know. But it does more than just filter bacteria. it filters old red blood cells. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in the next slide. So red blood cells. Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Similar to a Klein-Bottle. I was thinking a Klein-Bottle would be more complex than a donut. But that's just me. Okay. Thank you, Zama. Thank you. I don't even have a good mic. I'd like to get a good mic someday. But anyway. Yeah, this is a USB mic. Set up a throne. I do have a throne. It's a secret throne. I haven't posted it yet. The only stuff on my throne is Coke Zero and bananas. I don't know if I should post it or not. I don't want people donating stuff just yet. But if you want to donate stuff, Coke Zero, caffeine-free, and bananas are good. I don't know if I should post this though. I'll give it some thought. Okay. So red blood cells, I should. I'll have to look it up again. I'll think about it. I'll try. I'll work on it. I'll work on it this week. Anyway, red blood cells have a lifespan of 120 days. And the longer they live on, they deteriorate. They're not able to do. Red blood cells do a lot of work. They carry oxygen around the body. So they only have a lifespan of 120 days. The older they get, they are more susceptible to being attacked by the macrophages. Why didn't I write that down? I should have. The macrophages, just like the Kupffer cells. Remember, the Kupffer cells is a specialized macrophage. So it's part of your immune system. The spleen is a part of your immune system. The lymph nodes are also part of your immune system. That's good. That's good. But was it Thursday? On Thursday during my karaoke stream, you guys weren't telling me that I was peaking. I was peaking so much. And I didn't realize it until after when I was listening to the VOD. You guys didn't tell me that I was peaking. I didn't really set up. I could have decreased the gain. But I had created a different user account and on my computer, and I did not adjust the gain there. You couldn't tell? Really? Oh, that's good to know. But listening back, it was kind of cringe. Just a little bit. It was a very memorable stream for me, at least. The crying part was super unexpected. I'm still not over that. That was super weird. I've been tempted to delete the stream or like hide the stream because of that, but views are views, Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah. So the older the red blood cell the exterior of the red blood cell gets deteriorated and it becomes more prone to being attacked by the macrophages. So it gets more prone to be attacked by the macrophages in the spleen, in your liver, and the lymph nodes. The spleen and lymph nodes are part of your immune system. The liver also has macrophages. So the red blood cells get attacked. They get eaten up by the macrophages and they get metabolized. So the metabolites, if you remember, these are the products or the components of metabolism. After being broken down, it gets circulated into the body. One of these metabolites is bilirubin. Bilirubin. It is a yellow pigment. Oh, I already wrote down. It's a yellow pigment. And it is something that you see often, like when you get bruised. When you get bruised, you'll see a yellow coloration. That's because the red blood cells are dying and their parts are being metabolized and it's releasing bilirubin. That's why you have yellow in some bruises. The metabolites of bilirubin gets broken down even more, and that's what gives the coloration in your pee and your poo. Bilirubin. We'll get to it later too, but some liver condition, not really liver condition, but some liver conditions change the color of your pee. And a gallbladder condition. I don't have it here, but if you look at the gallbladder, here. Oh, right here. This part goes to your small intestine. So the stuff from the liver, the bile, goes in there. Once it goes into your intestine, it gets converted to the thing which colors your stool. We'll get to that in a bit too, but that's what makes your stool that color. If there is an obstruction there, I have failed to find you and thrown through guessing page names. I can't even remember what my page name is. But obstructions of the gallbladder will give you a white colored poop. In the equipment room, we have this thing called a Billy light, which they shine on those babies. I'm not familiar with babies, but I know that babies have something called is it gestational hyperbilirubinemia? I can't remember, but babies, there's a condition where it's normal. It's completely normal where they have high levels of bilirubin. I'm not sure if it's related to that. I'm sorry, I don't deal with babies. I'm so scared of babies. Babies frighten me more than silver and garlic. Well, silver doesn't really scare me, but came just in time to hear Jiwon is not familiar with babies. You shouldn't have said that. Oh no, it's there. That's what I was thinking about. Newborn jaundice. I'm not really familiar with babies, but I know babies can have jaundice, but that's normal. Am I correct? I don't really deal with babies. Looks like Foxy here knows a bit about babies. Yeah, but I don't really take care of. I know they have jaundice. Babies have jaundice, and I think that's normal. I'm not sure. I know about Google. It told you that. Okay. But yeah, that's what I was saying here. When the liver is impaired, bilirubin levels in blood increases, and that's what causes jaundice. When the liver is impaired, it's not able to process that bilirubin, so it just increases, and then you turn yellow, which is called jaundice. We'll get to that later too. But have you ever seen a yellow person? We're not talking about racist stuff here, or The Simpsons, but jaundice people are very yellow. Hello, Nilok. Hello. The liver connects everything together. That's true. We're not talking about that. Kilgul, familiar with babies? Damn, a research knows more about babies than me. A web search. Hello, flavor #1 fan account. Jaundice. But yeah, you turn yellow because of bilirubin. When the liver is not clearing it up, it turns yellow. And we'll get to that later. So here is a diagram of what happens to the red blood cells. So the red blood cells' main job is to ferry oxygen around the body, is to carry or ferry oxygen around the body. Hemoglobin is a component of the red blood cell that carries oxygen. Bilirubin and his antics. So hemoglobin. When the red blood cells die, hemoglobin is breaking down to its component, which is a heme and a globin. Heme is basically an iron compound. It's an iron compound, and globin is the protein compound of hemoglobin. Globin, again, if you're familiar with protein metabolism, protein are just long chains of amino acids. So it gets broken down and reused. Globin gets broken down and reused in the blood. Heme, it gets broken down to iron and biliverdin. Iron gets reused again. Biliverdin gets converted to bilirubin. It's released into the blood, but more specifically, from the blood, it goes to the liver. Hempay. It goes to the liver, and the liver converts it to bile and urobilin. This is what gives your urine its yellow color. It gives urine its yellow color. You have bilirubin inside of it. Bile, so bile is released into your large intestine, and there it gets converted by the bacteria into this. And that's what gives your poop its color. Yeah. So in some conditions where your gallbladder is obstructed and your bile isn't going into your colon, your poop actually turns white. Yeah. Or more kind of, basically, yeah. I've actually never seen this myself, but that's what I've been told. I guess more clay colored, probably. I don't know. But that's what happens. Bilirubin is not super toxic, but it can be. It's not super toxic, but it can be. It can make you itch and stuff like that. So when you vomit too strongly, are you actually getting bile reflux or something else? If you're vomiting bile, that's a bad sign. So that means let's go back to Astolfo. If you're vomiting bile, it basically means you're vomiting poop. That's how bad it is if you're vomiting bile. Not exactly poop, but around the area which you consider the poop area. So we're back here in Astolfo. It's a good thing we talked about the duodenum. We talked about the duodenum here. So that's this part here. It's the part after the stomach. I've seen it a lot. I've seen it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that it happens when you're expecting it to happen. They usually make them not eat anything. So the only thing they're throwing up is bile. But if they were eating something, they would be throwing up more than just bile. So this is your duodenum. You see the gallbladder? The gallbladder releases its stuff into the duodenum. That's after the stomach, if you can see. Sure, you can go to the restroom. Does any of this affect the four humors? That sounds like some kind of ancient Greek thing. That sounds like some ancient Greek thing. I'm not familiar. I'm probably not familiar with that stuff. Sure, but you can go to the bathroom. Where was I? Oh yeah. So the bile goes into your duodenum. So if you're throwing up bile, you're throwing up stuff from after your stomach. That's considered poop already. At least in my book. I've seen it happen many times. But only after... What is that? But only like after they've been told to stop eating. So nothing else is coming out. There is also a condition called pyloric stenosis. Pyloric stenosis is there's a valve after the stomach called the pylorus. And pyloric stenosis is where it gets really constricted. That causes projectile vomiting. And it's more than just food that you're throwing up. I've never seen it, but it's called projectile vomiting for a reason. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. So when you're vomiting too strongly, are you actually getting bile reflux or something? Oh, that could be what you're talking about. Pyloric stenosis. It's when your pylorus is obstructed and you're projectile vomiting. That's strong vomit if they drank too much after eating too much. I'm not exactly sure what causes pyloric stenosis, but there are many things that cause you to throw up. And most of those things involve some kind of obstruction. Yeah, so it could be that. Most of those really strong vomiting conditions are caused by an obstruction. So it's not exactly a reflux. Reflux is a condition when... So let's go back to Astolfo again. Let's go back to Astolfo. When you're having reflux, your issue is this part here. Oh. Thank you for your service, Astolfo. Let's erase some of the stuff here. So when you're talking about reflux, you're talking about this thing here. It's around the level of your heart. So it's called the cardiac sphincter. Cardiac sphincter. I hope I'm saying this right. I'm just going off memory at this point. But it's called the cardiac sphincter. It's called the cardiac sphincter because it's close to the heart. When you're having reflux, the issue is usually with that. Yeah. I hope I'm saying this right. You can fact check me. We're getting pretty long. Look at Astolfo. But yeah, the cardiac sphincter. That's what usually causes reflux. If the cardiac sphincter isn't closing properly, so stuff from your stomach goes up. If the obstruction is down here, and you're throwing up bile, that's not reflux anymore. That's something more concerning. Only familiar with another sphincter. It's not the boy's hole, is it? Boy's hole. Boy's soul. Boy's soul. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. Throwing up. Okay. Wow, we've been talking for a long time. I think we're getting close to the end. Not exactly. We're halfway there. Where to feel the troll's toll? To get into the boy's soul. Dayman, whoa. Okay. The third function. Wow, we're still in the third function. Third function of the liver is metabolism. Also, we can throw this in. Storage of nutrients. Storage of nutrients. So first, we have carbohydrate metabolism. If you remember my my weight loss lecture, it kind of ties in with that. So the liver is responsible for these things here. You can review my... I'd really like to review the weight loss PowerPoint, but I don't think we have enough time. But here, the liver is responsible for glycogenesis. Glycogen. So here is your word, glycogen. It is creating glycogen. So remember, it takes blood from your GI tract, and if your blood level is too high, blood sugar. If your blood sugar level is too high, it converts the glucose into glycogen for storage in the liver. The liver and the skeletal muscle can store glycogen. The liver is able to store glycogen for the whole body. The muscle just stores it for itself. So, in the liver, it converts glucose into glycogen, but it has a limited storage of glycogen. It can only store about 65 grams per 1 kilogram of liver. So it's not Not the most storage, but it holds a lot. 65 grams is a lot per 1 kilogram. And the liver is about 1.5 kilograms. So a decent amount of glycogen. If you don't remember, glycogen is it is a really big sugar molecule. It's a very big sugar molecule. And when your blood sugar is low, the liver does this. When your blood sugar is low, it breaks down glycogen and turns it into glucose. So you can use that blood sugar. If you don't have any glycogen, the liver can create glucose through gluconeogenesis from non-carbs, usually amino acids. So proteins, basically. Proteins. You can just say proteins. Proteins are turned into carbs for energy. And you can, if you want to, you can watch the weight loss stream for more specifics on this. For fat storage metabolism, once this limit is hit, the 65 grams of glycogen per 1 kilogram of liver is hit, the liver has no more space to store glycogen. So, it does this. Lipogenesis. It creates fats from fatty acids, or in our case here, excess carbs. So that's how people get fat. When they run out of storage for glycogen, carbs are converted to fats and stored in your adipose tissue, which is basically your fatty tissue. That's how you get fat. Eating too much carbs. Eating too much carbs. So that's what the liver does. The liver creates fats. It also creates fats from fatty acids. So liver creates fats. Liver also creates ketones. So you can watch that stream too, but it creates an energy source from fat. Basically, yeah. I could get even further into that, but that would be too much. If carb bad, why good taste? A lot of forbidden things taste good. Yeah, the fruit of the forbidden tree is not allowed on some public transport. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But we can go to the next slide. Piss and ketones. That might be a good sign if you're trying to get into ketosis. The nice thing, okay, I'm gonna rant about this a bit. The nice thing about ketones is unlike glucose, which if you don't use it, it gets stored as either glycogen or fat. The thing about ketones, if you can't use it, you either just pee it or breathe it out. You either just pee ketones or breathe it out. So it doesn't get stored. Okay, protein metabolism. So it metabolizes all your nutrients. So the liver is responsible for metabolizing a lot of your nutrients. Protein. So proteins and amino acids. When you eat proteins, your gut or your GI tract converts that or breaks it down into amino acids. It breaks into amino acids. And later on, as the amino acids gets distributed throughout your body, cells again reassemble it into proteins. Fruity smell if you've never experienced it. Yeah, ketones. We talked a lot about ketones in that previous stream. Proteins and amino acids. So this protein metabolism, this whole process here of making proteins from amino acids, or just processing proteins in general, creates these things called nitrogenous wastes. So like we talked about earlier, the only difference, or the main difference between protein versus carbs and fats is this nitrogen thing here. So proteins have nitrogen as well as carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They also have this nitrogen. And when this is processed, it creates nitrogenous wastes. And ammonia is one of them. Hello, John Noah DeAndres. You're learning good. Oh, we have Anna John too. Bestners. Thank you. But yeah. Where was I? I get distracted so easily. Oh yeah, ammonia. Ammonia is one of those nitrogenous wastes. Most of the nitrogenous wastes can be peed out by your kidney. Ammonia cannot. Ammonia must first be converted into uric acid in the liver, and then it can be peed out. And we'll get to why this is important later. The liver has to process ammonia first. The liver also creates its own proteins. Now it does more than just these, but these are the two that we'll focus on for this stream. These are the two that we'll be focusing on. Clotting factors and albumin. Clotting factors are your proteins responsible for forming clots, so you don't bleed to death. The liver creates a bunch of those. There are so many clotting factors. I can't memorize all of them. But I can't even remember the ones that the liver makes. But the liver makes some of them. And that's important for later. Albumin is one of those proteins that the hepatocytes creates. Yeah, bleeding to death hate for you, but good for me. Albumin. Albumin, it prevents fluid from leaking out your blood vessels. So your blood vessels are kind of semi-permeable. Albumin kind of lines the surface or the inside of your blood vessels, and it prevents water from leaking out. And we will see why this is a bad thing. If your liver can't produce albumin, water leaking out, that's a bad thing. And your liver, it's responsible for the metabolism of fat-soluble vitamins. So that's your A, D, E, and K. K is the one really important, but we'll talk a bit about these stuff here too. A, vitamin A, for good eyesight and stuff. If you remember, retinol. Vitamin A is actually stored in the liver. This is stored in the liver. D is kind of part of it is produced in the liver. But A is the big one. A is the big one because it is stored in the liver. Excess vitamin A can be toxic to the liver. So careful with your vitamin A. Most diets are not if you're eating normal, then you don't really have to worry about being deficient in vitamin A. But yeah. Vitamin A, too much vitamin A can be toxic to the liver. Vitamin K, so don't check vitamin A. Vitamin K, you can just think about that as clot. Vitamin K is important for clotting. Don't eat polar bear liver more than once per day. The liver is actually rich in so many in these vitamins. That's why people say it's superfood. Some people say it's superfood. But K is it's different from these clotting factors, but vitamin K is very important in producing clotting factors. So that's another important thing to remember, vitamin K. Okay. Now we're in the fourth. Again, there are more than these, but these are the easiest ones to remember. Detoxification. And we've talked about some already. Bilirubin gets converted into urobilin or bile. We've already talked about that in this thing here. Remember? Bilirubin goes to the liver, converted to bile, and then it's excreted out. So the liver detoxifies that bilirubin. Here now, talking about ammonia. We'll go into this more later too, but just like earlier, it converts ammonia into uric acid, which you can pee out. One of the most important meds to remember when talking about the liver is acetaminophen or paracetamol. Depending on where you live, it can be called paracetamol too. I should have written that down. But this is basically your Tylenol. This is basically Tylenol. Tylenol is primarily metabolized in the liver. And after being metabolized there, it gets peed out. But Tylenol is very toxic to the liver. The maximum daily dose is 4,000 milligrams, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Well, that is a lot of pills. If you're taking extra strength Tylenol, those are 8 pills. 8 extra strength Tylenol. So please don't do that. Don't do that. No, it's not. So again, it is metabolized in the liver. So it's the metabolites. So after being processed, it's no longer Tylenol. The stuff that you're peeing out is a metabolite of Tylenol and not Tylenol anymore. It's not Tylenol anymore. Basically. So your liver, the liver has actually many ways of metabolizing Tylenol, but they involve this substance here, glutathione. If you're taking too much Tylenol and your liver runs out of glutathione, it can no longer metabolize Tylenol. And that's when you get into Tylenol toxicity. You get confused, you feel really bad, really sick, body aches, pains. You feel like really sick. And you can die. You can die. It's not good. So when that glutathione reserve runs out, your liver can no longer process Tylenol. The antidote for this is N-acetylcysteine or NAC. This thing got really popular during the coup. As it was being told as some kind of not exactly a cure, but NAC is a very powerful antioxidant. Because it gets converted to glutathione in the body. It gets converted to glutathione. So they're gonna, when you get Tylenol overdose, they give you this in the hospital. NAC. And you will never forget the smell of NAC. You will never forget the smell of NAC. Because it smells exactly like rotten eggs. And they're pumping your veins full of this stuff. It smells like rotten eggs. But it works. It works. One use of NAC is for it's a mucolytic. It helps. It's also a mucolytic. There's a cyberpunk short story about a dude who travels back in time after having modified his genome to appreciate method. I think is that from the anime or something? That's so weird. But yeah. This is also given as some kind of inhaler. And not exactly inhaler, but what is I'm already forgetting this. But anyway, it's given as a what is that term? I should know this term. I do this a lot. Oh, nebulizer. Okay, no. Nebulizer. Okay. It's also given in a nebulizer form, and it is called Mucomist. And it helps make you breathe easier. And it smells like rotten eggs. It smells like rotten eggs. You'd buy June's anything? I don't want to sell my anything because someone might clone me. I'm the only one allowed to clone myself. But yeah, this is the antidote for Tylenol overdose. Not the oral stuff, okay? The oral stuff won't help at the start. If you're really ODing on Tylenol, you need the IV stuff. It has to be IV. So don't think you're gonna fix your Tylenol toxicity by taking oral NAC. No, you need to go to the hospital and you need to get IV NAC. And it's gonna smell like rotten eggs. Okay, now the biggie. Alcohol. Alcohol. So one of the things that your liver detoxifies is alcohol. Now, this is a big thing, which we're gonna even go get into much deeper later. I can't believe it. It's already 8:40. Okay, I'm hoping to end the stream before 10 o'clock. Maybe hopefully 9:30. This has gone quite long. I hope you guys aren't sleepy yet. But alcohol, 90 to 98% is broken down in the liver. So that's how much work you're putting into the liver. You love oral. The rest is excreted in your urine, your breath, and your sweat. So most of the liver, most of the alcohol you take goes to the liver. Very sleepy, but enjoying the Tiger Boy. Thank you. Hopefully you're not doing anything, you're not driving or anything. I'll talk you to sleep. But not if you're driving. Not if you're driving. Where was I? Oh, the liver does a pretty good job at detoxifying alcohol. But if it's too much, the liver can run out of the stuff that it used to. No, just performing surgery on terminally ill orphans. Okay, that's good. That's good. They're terminal already anyway. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Watching Tiger Boy and driving. Hopefully you're just listening and not watching. Drive safe, drive safe. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Don't be like me, chat. Listening or watching listening to lectures while driving. That can put you to sleep. But yeah, this enzyme called ADH, which is alcohol dehydrogenase. You don't need to memorize this. Just remember that the liver produces this thing to break down alcohol. You can't stop staring at thighs. Are they... Oh, what's that? Are they keeping you awake? Well, if it helps you stay up. If it helps you stay awake. And if it helps you stay awake, we can do that. Okay. Oh no. Where was I? I keep getting lost. Okay, so this enzyme, ADH, converts the alcohol into this can be a little boring. But excuse me. You know, a cat came up to me earlier. And I'm allergic to cats. I do have cats, but this was earlier. A cat, just some random cat on the parking lot, super friendly cat, climbed up to me and started rubbing against me. Very, very friendly cat. And I don't remember if I took my allergy meds. Anyway, it could be related to that. Again, I do have cats, but I keep them away from me for most of the day. So, where was I? ADH converts alcohol into acetaldehyde. Okay. This is going to get a little confusing because a lot of the terms are going to sound the same. Are they hypoallergenic? They're not that bad. I don't think they are. But I don't know if I've built a resistance to this type of cat. I think their mom, they're kind of mixed. Their mom might have been one of those hypoallergenic breeds, but I don't think they are. The one that came up to me earlier probably wasn't hypoallergenic. But anyway, another enzyme converts that acetaldehyde to acetate. Now, this one is really important. So the product, when the liver breaks down alcohol into this one can be damaging to the liver too. And you need this one, acetaldehyde dehydrogenase, to break it down even further. So for most people, so this, if you're familiar with how proteins are made from your DNA, basically. DNA is used, if you really think about it, DNA is a recipe book for protein. Yep. DNA is a recipe book for protein. And this here is a protein. So things that end with ACE, things that, yeah, folding, yep, into proteins. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So ACE, words that end with ACE usually means they're enzymes. And enzymes are a type of protein. So some people, due to their genetics, have trouble creating this enzyme. So your tolerance pretty much to alcohol, your tolerance to alcohol is based on how much ALDH you can produce. And usually for Asians, the reason why they can't tolerate alcohol that well is because it's their genetics. A lot of Asians do not, or like have trouble producing that enzyme. Yeah. Yeah, Asian rosacea. I think it's what it's called. Yeah. That enzyme is what gives you tolerance. The more of that enzyme you can produce, thanks to your genetics, the more tolerant you'll be to alcohol. I don't know if you can train yourself to produce that enzyme, though. And finally, alcoholic liver disease, which we will get to at the end. So challenging Asians drinking contest for free money. Got it. Again, it's not a broad term, but you can take advantage of that, I guess. It's a good way to piss off your boss. But yeah, they have a handicap when it comes to drinking. And finally, alcoholic liver disease. So from the process of doing this, just like Tylenol can damage your liver. And continuous damaging of the liver can lead to worse and worse stuff, which we will get to later. Okay, the next two functions are the last functions we'll be talking about, and they should be pretty short. This is bile production. So like we said earlier, the liver produces bile, and that bile is stored in the gallbladder. The purpose of the bile is to emulsify fats. So fats don't mix in water, right? And it's a hard time mixing in water. So when they enter your gut, they come in big globules, which don't dissolve in water. Bile helps break that down. So they turn into smaller globules, and then they can be digested. So that's what bile does. Yeah, big. And they're responsible for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, like the vitamins we talked about earlier, A, D, E, and K. K, the clotting factor. The main ingredient of bile is cholesterol. The bile is composed of lots of stuff, acids, sodium bicarbonate, other stuff, but the main ingredient is cholesterol. So after your bile does its thing, some of it is reabsorbed again into the bloodstream and goes back to the liver, where it can be reused. This is how some weight loss drugs work. So, your body creates bile from cholesterol. Some weight loss or cholesterol drugs, some of them market as weight loss, but lots of cholesterol drugs work this way. They block the reabsorption, so you pretty much poop out the bile. You poop the bile out, so your liver has to make more, and by making more, it has to use more cholesterol. So it should bring your cholesterol down, but it makes you poop that. That's why a lot of these weight loss drugs that give people diarrhea and stuff. Yeah, that's what's going on. And the last function that I have here, and the most important function to me, is regeneration. Regeneration. Just ignore that. The liver is the only organ that is able to regenerate lost tissue. Remember how I said you were gonna donate your liver to me after this? This is my selling point. Your liver is able to regenerate lost tissue. It's the only organ, actually. So that's why living donor liver transplants are encouraged, or this is one of the selling points for living donor liver transplants. Yeah. So this is how doctors probably sell living donor liver transplants. The surgery is very extensive. The surgery is very hard on your body, but you will survive it. It's gonna be really painful, but a donor can donate up to half of their liver, and it is able to regenerate in 6 to 8 weeks. Normal function usually returns in about a week. So, are you willing to donate your liver to me? That's actually crazy, yeah. People are trying to figure out why the liver is able to do this. They're trying to figure out why the liver is able to do this, but the other parts of the body can't. That's how important the liver is. The liver is able to regenerate itself. It's crazy. It's crazy, actually. And I've seen a lot of people donate their livers. Yeah. The problem is, this ability of the liver is heavily impaired by steatosis and cirrhosis, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. How do you sew it up after you remove half of it? So, like I said, the liver is neatly... Okay, we'll go back to Astolfo. The liver is neatly divided. That's what they're saying. Sorry. Gonna need all the liver I can get. The liver is divided into multiple lobes. Here the main division, you can see 2 lobes, but it's actually divided into many lobes. Like, I think total of 8 or 8 in each side. I can't remember. But if you chop off that lobe, it's actually already neatly, there's a neat division. So if you chop that off, so the surgeons are really good at it. You really need to make clean cuts, I'm guessing. That part of the liver is able to regrow itself. Yeah. This, the left lobe of the liver is actually smaller than the right lobe. So you can donate more of the right lobe than the left lobe. But they divided, again, the liver is divided into many lobes. They're neatly divided. So the surgeons, I'm not a surgeon, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And it is able to regenerate itself. Yeah. But again, that ability is heavily impaired by steatosis and cirrhosis, which we will get to. Is there a market for it? It's actually illegal. It is illegal in the United States to sell organs. It is illegal to sell organs in the US. It's structured in such a way that it's built for rebuilding itself. Yeah. It's pretty amazing how the liver does it. Yeah, if the kidney only knew how to do that, things would be a lot easier for the kidney. But this again is impaired by steatosis and cirrhosis, which we'll get to in a little bit. So these are not all the liver function tests, but when you talk about liver function tests, these are your lab tests for the liver. They test for these are blood tests. They test for your albumin, ALT, or ALP, ALT, and AST. These are liver, and so albumin is produced by the liver. If your albumin is low, it means that there's something wrong with the liver. Okay? It's not producing albumin, something must be wrong. These here are liver enzymes. And when they're elevated, it indicates liver damage. Yeah. Bilirubin is a waste product made by the liver and is excreted in the bile. So if this is high, then the liver is not doing its job. The liver is not doing its job in excreting it. This here is a clotting time. So the liver is responsible for so many clotting factors. If this is elevated, there's something wrong with your liver. All right. Now we'll go to symptoms of liver disease. So these are the symptoms you'll usually experience if you're having liver disease. Edema. Edema is the swelling caused by fluid trapped in body tissues. Remember albumin? Albumin, oh, that was my neck. I don't know if you heard it. Albumin prevents fluids from leaking out of the blood vessels. So, if your liver is not producing albumin because it's damaged, then you will start to experience swelling. It could be more than just that. It could be more than just that. There are other conditions that cause swelling. Your boy lactulose. Yep. Other things. You want another ASMR body popping? I can do that. But there are other things that cause edema. But if you're having edema, it could be you're having liver problems. Not 100%, but liver problems can cause that. This one, though, is more clearly related to liver problems. Ascites is edema of the abdomen. You have a space inside your abdomen called the peritoneum, and if fluid is leaking into that, it is most likely because you have liver problems. Again, these symptoms happen a long time after, like it takes a long time for this to pop out when you're having liver disease. But that's just one sign. I'm not sure if this is related to the beer belly. Beer belly thingy. Beer belly. But people with, I don't know if you've ever seen, you can Google it. These people have very, very, very big bellies. And they could be really skinny too. They could be really skinny but have big bellies. So I'm not sure if that's what beer belly is, but that's swelling of the belly. Jaundice. If you remember, the liver gets rid of bilirubin. And bilirubin is a yellow coloring. So if your liver isn't getting rid of bilirubin, the bilirubin's going to build up on your skin or your blood, and it'll turn your skin and your eyes. The sclera are the whites of your eyes. So it'll turn the skin and the whites of your eyes yellow. So people with really advanced liver disease, they can be highlighter yellow. And I've seen that. As yellow as a sharp yellow, or like a highlighter yellow. That is very yellow. That's why I'm not talking. I said I'm not talking about the Simpsons or a certain race of people. If you have bad liver disease, you're gonna turn yellow. That's one sign. But again, that's an advanced sign. These are usually advanced signs. This here is hepatic encephalopathy. We're talking about lactulose again. But hepatic encephalopathy is caused by ammonia. So again, your liver converts ammonia into uric acid. So ammonia, again, is a product of protein metabolism, which is happening all over your body. Your body is creating ammonia all the time. The liver converts it into uric acid, and then your kidneys are able to pee that out. Your kidneys can pee that uric acid out. But if your liver isn't working, that ammonia level just keeps on building up and building up until it hits your brain. When it hits your brain, it is a brain disorder, so you're gonna go crazy. Once the ammonia hits your brain, you're gonna look like a psych patient. You're gonna be crazy, confused, you're gonna start hitting people and stuff. You're not yourself anymore when this happens. And the only cure is lactulose. They also give a drug called rifaximin or Xifaxan. This is the generic name, I think, which is an antibiotic. This is an antibiotic, and they give it in conjunction with lactulose because apparently it helps. But the only real cure is lactulose, because we've talked about this before. I've talked about this a lot. But lactulose absorbs the ammonia from your blood. So lactulose is a laxative. It sits in your gut and it absorbs the ammonia from your blood, and then you poop it out. So instead of peeing it out, sometimes you just gotta empty the whole tank. Yeah, so that's very unfortunate. That's hepatic encephalopathy. Symptoms of liver disease are also bruising, because you're not clotting, bruising or bleeding. Like if you're prone to that, or people with liver disease, really advanced liver disease, they bruise so very easy, and they take a long time to clot. Again, since the liver is responsible for a lot of metabolism, malnutrition is a sign. So they're gonna look really skinny, but have big bellies. Big bellies, but skinny. Yeah. Which is unfortunate. Oh, I think I'm just repeating that. I just repeated it. Here are other conditions. mpeg physique, yeah. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Steatosis and cirrhosis. Steatosis is the accumulation of fats within the liver, or fatty liver disease. This impairs the liver's ability to heal itself. We'll talk about this more later. But fat builds up in your liver when this happens. Fat builds up in the liver, and that causes damage, which can lead to this, cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is scarring of the liver tissue. So the lobules inside the liver, too much fat accumulation, too much damage from drinking or from hepatitis or whatever, it can start forming scars. And once that happens, it is irreversible. You cannot undo cirrhosis. Once cirrhosis starts, this can be reversed. Steatosis can be reversed by changing your diet, stopping alcohol and stuff. But cirrhosis, once it started, cannot be reversed. So any tissue that starts to have scarring will be that way forever. Yeah, consistent heavy drinking is bad. And you have hepatocellular carcinoma, which is cancer of the liver cells. We'll get into more of this later. Actually, I was really rushed in making this in these slides, so the last slides are gonna be not so very good. You also have portal vein hypertension. If you remember the portal vein, the pressure there is supposed to be low. If the pressure there gets high, it can cause a lot of stuff, swelling of your blood vessels. So you like those really engorged blood vessels on the legs and in the belly. Have you ever seen those, like really obvious? I don't think you've ever seen a really sick liver patient, but they have really bad looking veins in their belly and in their legs. That's because of this. Okay, now we can talk about diseases. These are the last slides. These are the last slides. I'm happy you guys decided to stay with me this whole time. Thank you so much. But these are the diseases. I don't think I put any disgusting pictures. I did not. I did not. Good. I didn't even have time to put all the diseases, so I just only have a few here. I hope you guys are okay with that. But you have hepatitis. So hepatitis, if you have itis, it means inflammation. going to be hard getting rid of us. That's good to know. Hepatitis. So this is the inflammation of your liver. It can cause by many things. So you have acute and chronic hepatitis. Acute hepatitis usually lasts less than 6 months. And after that, liver functions usually normalize. Chronic is a hepatitis that lasts for 6 months or more. The most, not really most common causes, but when you hear about hepatitis, these are the ones you really think about. You think about hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and hepatitis June acute. Thank you. But usually it's caused by, when you think about hepatitis, you're thinking about hepatitis A, B, and C. But it can also be caused by heavy drinking, drugs, and allergic reactions. Remember, hepatitis is just inflammation of the liver. Yeah. So we're going to go through the common ones here. Hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is spread by contact with contaminated food or water. This isn't very common in the first world. This is not very common in the first world. But this is more common in poorer countries. So you need to really be careful when you're in foreign countries and you're buying street food. Because this is unfortunately spread by this. So if you eat food that has been contaminated with infected this stuff, you can get hepatitis A. The secret spice. And sometimes you notice it a little late. Symptoms appear weeks. 2 to 7 weeks, if I remember correctly. There is a vaccine available for hepatitis A, and it usually goes away on its own, like 6 months. Or not 6 months, I can't remember, but it goes away on its own. Really easy to get if you hunt and don't clean in the field. Okay, I didn't know that. So animals can have it. This is a hepatitis A virus. I forgot to add virus. This is a viral infection. So like with most viral infections, it goes away on its own. Your body is able to fight it. Yeah. There is no medication. There is no medication. It's usually supportive. You just treat the symptoms and it should go away on its own, hopefully. And you need to be careful so you don't spread it too. Hepatitis B virus is exposure to contaminated body fluids. So body fluids, exposure to that contaminated can get you hepatitis B. This is a big thing in healthcare, hepatitis B. So everyone who works in healthcare has to get the vaccine because so many people have this. So many people have this. And what's unfortunate, it can take months for people to notice that they have it. There are blood tests. There are blood tests that help you. So when you get exposed to blood, it's best to go to a doctor. And they will test your blood and they will tell you when to come back to test your blood again. So they can it's a virus, so there are no real cures or stuff, but they can treat it with stuff to help fight it. There is no cure for Hep B, but antivirals and immune modulators can be used to help I'm in the way. To help the immune system fight off the virus. I think the shot, yeah. There's a shot that you get for it. But that's Hep B. It's not just blood, but all types of body fluids too. So you really need to be careful. Practice safe and, if possible, abstinence. Okay. Hep C virus. It's actually more common than most people think. Hep C. Hep C, unlike Hep B, is only from exposure to blood. A lot of veterans have this because I believe it was practiced before to share needles in the army. I don't remember. I'm not exactly sure, but I've heard that a lot of abstinence goes against my tiger boy, baby. But this comes from exposure to blood. And I think a lot of veterans have this because I was told that was it the VA or whatever? Don't quote me on this, but they were sharing needles. So they were reusing needles, reusing needles. So it got passed around, which is very unfortunate. And a lot of people have big liver issues because of this. There was a lot of poor practice. Okay. So I was right. That was very unfortunate. It's so sad how they treat the veterans. Or at least when they yeah, whatever. That's a big shame. A lot of people have liver issues because of hepatitis. And just like B, it can take months for it to appear. And unlike B, there is no vaccine for Hep C. But fortunately, it can be cured. There is a cure for Hep C now. There is a cure. When you're out in the field, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, it is sad. There is a cure, fortunately. There's a cure for hepatitis B now. Or C. There's a cure for hepatitis C. But it's very expensive. They are new. The meds are new. And very, 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 very expensive. They're so expensive. We used to count them. We used to count these meds to make sure we're not losing them or no one's stealing them. These are expensive meds. But they can cure. They can cure Hep C in 6 months, I believe. 6 months, you're completely cured. And they're oral meds. They're oral meds. So you don't need to get shots or anything. Once the liver proves its place as the 1% of organs. I know. So very expensive meds. And we're not going to get into liver transplantation here because we don't have enough time, and I didn't put it here. But again, yeah, liver transplant, that's even more meds, more expensive meds. Pancreas is pretty close. You can actually live without your pancreas. But yeah, you know, when you have pancreas problems, when you're talking about the pancreas, it's very painful. Everything related to the pancreas somehow has to deal with pain. Pancreatitis is one of the most painful things you're going to have to go through. I've never experienced it, but everyone that I've known that has pancreatitis, they're in a lot of pain. Okay, now the final disease we're going to talk about is alcoholic liver disease, because this is the biggie. Alcoholic liver disease is anything really that any liver disease that is related to the consumption of alcohol. So generally there are 3 types: steatosis, alcoholic hepatitis, and alcoholic cirrhosis. Yeah, maybe. I think some people might be even working on that. Who knows? Yeah. That might just encourage people to drink some more though. But take care of your livers, because it might still be really expensive. But steatosis is your fatty liver. Alcoholic hepatitis is hepatitis caused by alcohol, inflammation caused by alcohol. And alcoholic cirrhosis. I don't really have much slides after this, so I have to apologize. We're getting to the end of the stream here. But here is steatosis, or fatty liver disease. For whatever reason, it's not fully understood, but drinking alcohol can cause fat to build up in your liver. So this is your healthy liver. You can probably recognize the hexagonal shaped lobules here. This is a healthy liver lobule. This here is a fatty liver lobule. Shiny liver. Fat tends, for some reason that's not fully understood, drinking alcohol causes fat to be deposited in the liver. So some people think it's caused by the impaired ability of the liver to metabolize and transport fat. That's the main idea. So the liver makes fats, right? It might be impaired. One of the metabolites of alcohol probably impairs the ability of the liver to transport fat, and the fat just stays there and builds up. It builds up in the liver and it impairs its ability to function. 90 to 100%, I don't know why it says 100%, but these are the statistics I found in a government website, of alcoholics have fatty liver disease. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't even know what alcoholic means. How many drinks do you need to take to be an alcoholic? But 90 to 100% of alcoholics have some degree of fatty liver disease. Fortunately, it is reversible. It is reversible. Gotta catch it since it's rare. It is reversible. Changes in your practices. Eating more healthy, or like drinking less, maybe, I don't know, but changing in your health practices, that can reverse it. Yeah. But do sugars like I've heard that high fructose corn syrup can do this, but most medical sources say it is caused by alcohol. Yeah, but I've heard that fructose can do it. You know you're an alcoholic if you're asking. If you're asking. Or if you're waking up from your Yeah. I didn't have any pictures for this, but alcoholic hepatitis. 10 to 35% of alcoholics will have alcoholic hepatitis. It pretty much just looks like a liver, but inflamed. But both steatosis and alcoholic hepatitis can lead to this third one, which is cirrhosis. 8 to 20% of alcoholics will develop cirrhosis. So this is your healthy liver from chronic inflammation. Inflammation is that hepatitis and fatty liver disease. It can damage the liver so bad, it'll start having scars. And once the scars happen, it is irreversible. The scarring cannot be undone. There is no cure for cirrhosis, but there is a way around it, and that is transplantation. Transplantation is the only way to get around this. But once the liver tissue is scarred, it loses its ability to regenerate. It can no longer regenerate, so it's going to stay like that forever. Once scarring has occurred, it is irreversible. I don't even know why. I probably didn't. I forgot to erase that part. But it is irreversible. You can't undo that damage. And the only cure really is to get a liver transplant. And I didn't have time to talk about that. But from the chronic scarring, if you understand how cancer works, cancer is a mutated cell. And how does a cell get mutated? It's when its DNA gets messed up. When its DNA can get messed up from constant damage. Like the cell keeps on getting damaged. It can damage the DNA too. So there's a 1 to 2% of cirrhotics, people with cirrhosis. They eventually develop HCC, or hepatocellular carcinoma, which is liver cancer. And liver cancer usually has a bad prognosis. I've seen people survive it. But it has a usually poor prognosis. So the outcome isn't really good. They usually give you 5 years maybe. I'm not a doctor. Prognosis. Yeah. So take care of your livers. Take care of your livers so that you can you can donate your livers to me. Okay? Here we have the progression. Here's a picture of the progression. First, you have a healthy liver. 90% of heavy drinkers eventually develop steatosis. If you practice abstinence, it can return back to normal. This is what the normal liver tissue looks like. That's what steatosis looks like. You can see all those fat buildups. If a person has reached this point but they don't want to fix it, it can get worse. Fibrosis means scarring. So scarring has started here. Once it starts scarring, it's irreversible. You can't go back. And it can get worse. Cirrhosis, really bad scarring. Liver is pretty much useless at this point. And then a few percentage of cirrhotics eventually develop cancer. Or HCC. And at that point, they have to remove the liver. Or the part of the liver that has it. And undergo all the stuff that you have to go through when you get cancer. This is the sad part of the stream. And the sad part is that I have no more slides after this. So let's go to an empty slide. Let's go to an empty slide. Oh. No more human content. We can talk about liver transplantation for a bit, I guess. Nothing to distract from thighs. I guess I can bring myself to the center of the screen now, huh? But the moral lesson of this story, I guess. The moral lesson of this story is that you need to take care of your livers so that you can donate your livers to me, because your livers are gonna if your livers are healthy, then they'll regenerate themselves anyway, right? I'm sorry to end on such a sour note. I could talk about liver transplantations, but that might go over the time. My liver is all yours. I don't need all of it. You can give me half. It'll regrow itself anyway. So I guess we can talk a little bit about my plans for next week. So I did promise someone a karaoke stream next week. So I don't know if I promised. I can't remember if I promised or not, but I did say something about a karaoke stream next week. So I'm gonna shoot for that. But I'm planning I want to do a big lore stream, but in order to do that, I'm gonna have to create a lot of assets and stuff. I have to create videos. I want to do it next week, but depending on how everything goes, I might have to do it the following week. Oh, I'd also like to play Raft some more. I'd like to play some more Raft. So the other day I was playing Raft. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. There wasn't a promise, so don't stress over it. Okay. With the lore graphics. Oh, thank you. I don't want to ask help because I don't want anyone. I don't want to spoil anything. But thanks for offering. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil it. I want it to be a surprise for everyone except for myself. But yeah, I want to play some more Raft, so I'm gonna stream more of that too. But it's so sad. It's only in Raft where dry land is even more dangerous than the ocean. I ended up in one of those islands with another bird. And no, I want to surprise flavor support too. I want to surprise flavor support. Where the bird, the bird that drops stones. I was fighting a boar and I was winning. And then the bird came and killed me. And it spawn camped, chat. It spawn camped. So when I came back, the bird was still there and it killed me again. So I lost everything. And for whatever reason, my raft is stuck on that island. I don't even have an anchor or anything, so my raft is stuck on that island. I'm stuck there. I've lost all my stuff. I don't know how I'm supposed to get off that island. I might have to create a new game again. But that raft game is lots of fun. So that's all I have. Oh yeah, I also want to do the spicy ramen stream. Spicy ramen. I've already ordered the ramen. I'm still gonna have to figure out the logistics of doing a hand cam thing. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it next week. What's a bulldog? Is that related to mukbang or something? But hopefully that won't kill me. I won't try the spicy ramen until that stream. It's a type of okay. I don't know what it's called. I asked people on Twitter what the ramen was, and I bought whatever they said was the right one. Hopefully that would be the right one. But I don't know. Anyways, let me see who's streaming right now. Thank you guys for keeping me company here. Oh, Minta's still streaming, so you can go watch her after this. I don't know if you're already watching her though. But you can head over to her stream after this. Thank you so much for keeping me company and listening to me rant about the liver for a bit. I really appreciate it. Oh, we have 2 more minutes, so we can. Now, I don't really have much to say, but I'm really thankful for you guys coming. Don't forget to keep your livers healthy, because you're gonna be donating those livers to me. Okay? Thank you. But, Atsuwon! Mata ne!